Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Punattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti. There is a clarification. The question: why the word sage in verse 14 is equated with gods, while in verse 13 equated to wise? What is the clarification? Why the word unmute him?
Yes, Hariom sir.
Yes. Yeah, chalo.
Verse 14,
Ah.
around the 5th line, neither the gods nor the sages know his origin.
Yes.
So it says that the little gods and the sages are referred as one and the same.
Yes.
But in the previous verse and the subsequent verse, sage is referred to somebody who is very wise or who is realized.
Yes.
Why this one sage is being used differently in different verse, sir?
Oh, right. Okay, that way. Okay. So the references to 13 and 14.
In 13,
in verse number 13, he says, all the sages acclaim you, and also the divine sage Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa, and so do you yourself say to me. In verse number 14, he says, I regard all this that you say to me as true, O Keshava. Verily, O blessed Lord, neither the gods nor the demons know your manifestations. So in the commentary of verse number 14, fifth line, he says, neither the gods nor the sages know his origin. In verse number 13, he says, the divine sages talk about it. So what is that? So in verse number 13, the sages seems to know him. In verse number 14, the sages seem to not know him. So what is the difference? Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Also in 13, after the several vibhutis mentioned,
Yeah.
it ends at Vibhum. It says
Yes.
Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa were regarded and respected as the most truthful sages of supreme wisdom.
Yes. Yeah. So in verse number 13, he is saying, all the sages and also the divine sage. So there are two groups in verse number 13 itself. If you read again, in verse number 13 itself, there are these two groups. All the sages acclaim you, also the divine sages. So he is giving the list of some divine sages, and then there is another group called sages. What is the difference between the sages and the divine sages? Okay. Sages, we can say Sunday morning Vedanta students, the first group. The second group are the one who actually knows it. So we can say two groups. One is this group. We all know the glories, but actually we don't know. So there is one group who actually knows it, and there is another group who's trusting that group. So here we say, okay, Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa, all of them have spoken so great about you. Not only that, rest of the sages also are talking so great about you. And finally, you yourself say it. Not only the sages says you are great, you are also saying, I am great. I accept it. So here in verse number 14, when he's talking about the sages do not know, he's talking about the first group of sages. So in verse number 14, when he says, neither the gods nor the sages knew his origin, if you want to connect it to the previous verse, what is the group that he is referring to? The first group. Otherwise, there is no need to say all the sages say and also the divine sages. So there are two. That's why in the commentary you rightly pointed, they are the truthful sages of supreme wisdom. Now, what does this truthful sages of supreme wisdom means? The truthful sages of supreme wisdom means they know. One is trying to know, another is they know. So that is the difference between the two. One is trying to know. They are very genuine in their pursuit. They are very sincere, genuine, all and the very genuinity and sincerity in the pursuit itself is like saying they are sages. One who is doing tapas is also called a sage. One who has attained the wisdom is also called a sage. The word rishi in the Vedic literature and Bhagavad Gita, especially this 10 and 11 vocabulary and all, is lot from the Vedic and Puranic literature. So there the words don't have a fixed meaning. Like when you say the fixed meaning means the roots are the same. The derivative roots don't change, but they use it very liberally. One is Rishayaha, another is Deva Rishihi in verse number 13. So Rishayaha or Deva Rishi, if we have to bring a distinction between the two, this is the distinction we have to bring. Also in verse number 14, when he says, neither the gods nor the demons know your manifestation. What he is saying here in the commentary is neither the gods nor the sages know his origin. The verse says gods and demons. The commentary says gods and sages. Did you notice the difference? You follow what I'm saying? The verse says, I regard all this that you say to me as true, O Keshava. Verily, O blessed Lord, neither the gods nor the demons know your manifestation. So the word sages is not in the verse. It is introduced in the commentary, referring to one who is trying to know, but they actually do not know as yet. Gods are the ones who don't make an effort to know Brahman. They are gods. Who's a god? Deva. Gods means ones who don't make an effort to know Brahman. Rishis are those who makes effort to know Brahman. Why do we say gods don't make an effort to know Brahman? As we go through the stories of all the manifestations, we'll discuss that. Gods don't know Brahman, or gods are those who don't make an effort to know Brahman. Rishis are the ones who makes effort to know Brahman. The difference between sages and the wise. So he's bringing a distinction again. The sages and the wise. Generally speaking, sages are wise. The subtle distinction is only this.
Follow.
They are making an effort, and these people have made the effort. Him, the wise one calls as great elsewhere. So there he's bringing about the distinction between the wise one and the one who knows Brahman. So the wise one says he is great. There the distinction will be, who calls you great matters. Who says you are great actually matters. So again, the distinction we bring in there. Common words, but in the context, the interpretation keeps changing. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. We are doing 22.
We are on 22.
22. The Vibhuti is the Vibhuti Yoga, the glories of the God, the supreme glories. Glory nalle supreme da, but then he devotion goes on adding adjectives. That's all. Where there is devotion, you will not be satisfied with one adjective. Logic will say, eject all that and keep it like a formula. Logic wants to keep like a formula, sutras. Devotion says, go on, add adjectives. So you will have a Sahasranama and still not be satisfied. You can have a Sahasranama chanting and still that person says, oh, no, I've not even touched the surface of the divine. So here the vibhutis that he is talking. How to make a human being not forget the divine in and through everything is the challenge. The challenge of the Shastras, the challenge of the great masters is how to make us not forget the divine in and through everything that we do. Because the moment we start doing something, we forget the divine. Or if I have to remember the divine, I have to say I will not do anything. So either I say to remember the divine, I can't do anything, or if I start doing something, I'll forget the divine. The question is, okay, if remembrance of the divine is important, why can't tell people directly stop everything and remember? Because ultimately that's what is important. So why give the advice of keep doing? Stop everything and remember the divine. That advice is a futile advice. It won't help anybody, because if a person has risen to that level, that person will automatically stop. Number 2, the great sages, Asita, Narada and all, Narayanji, they all know that you don't stop, you outgrow that. You don't stop anything. You just outgrow that. So the wise one, no, you only outgrow. You don't make a choice. Okay, should I stop doing this and then go to divine? That choice itself doesn't exist for them. Why? Because they have exhausted all their karmas at that level, all the karmas are exhausted. So there is nothing for them even to, there's nothing for them to talk about, think about doing anything. Therefore, the advice that even though you have to remember the divine, stop everything and remember the divine will not help. Because one is the mind cannot stop. Even if it stops, it will pretend as though it has stopped for a few days. It will pretend as though it has stopped for a few days, few weeks. After that, it will go back. And when it goes back, it will go back with a greater intensity. Because of that period of frustration. Because of the period of that frustration, it goes back. Isn't it? The Tamil calendar, there is a month called fasting month, isn't it? There's a calendar. There's a period called fasting month, Puratasi. They fast. They don't fast. What do? They will not eat meat for 1 month. That's all. So fasting month, when they say we are fasting, they will say. Actually, they're not fasting and all. They simply abstain from eating meat for 1 month. In the next 2 weeks, after that over, the meat sales are double. No, it is true. Statistically, it is true. Why? Because that period is not understood why it is done. So what happens? You abstain like this, definitely you will come back because your vasanas will pull you back. Your nature will pull you back there. And when the vasanas pull you back, it will come back with a greater intensity. Therefore, what is the other way? Since you see the world, and in the world you see certain things as good and bad, what he is doing now, all the good things that you see in the world is me. That's all Vibhuti Yoga is. All the good things that you see in this world is me. All the bad things that you see in this world is your mind. That's all. Vibhuti Yoga is very simple. If at all you see anything good, don't say it is me. The ego should not say it. So if at all you see anything good in life, that itself is very difficult. And even if you see anything good in life, anything divine, it's me. Krishna is saying that. Okay, but there are wrong things also I see. There are bad things also I see. That is your mind. What can I do about it? So Vibhuti Yoga takes claim for all the good things as mine and all the bad things that you see as your mind. That mind which is seeing the bad, it has to be replaced with the good. It has to be replaced with the good. And to replace it with the good, you cannot see Brahman everywhere unless you go through this intermediate step of seeing divine everywhere. You cannot escape, you cannot bypass this step. You cannot straight away go to the Aikyam. You cannot straight away go to the merger and attain Jiva Brahma Aikyam. The Aham Brahmasmi state and all won't come directly. Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. You have to go through many janmas to come to that point. Okay, how many janmas I have to go through? Is there a way I can fast track it? Is there a way by which I can do it? Yes, Vibhuti Yoga teaches you that. And how Vibhuti Yoga teaches you that? You see the world? First question. Answer is yes. And how do you see the world? Good and bad. There are certain things that is very good. There are certain things that is very, very bad. Yeah. 3 minutes. Venkat gave us silence today, isn't it? He gave us silence. Why can't you just be silent for the 3 minutes? And anyway, in the 4th minute, I am going to start non-stop talking. No. So Venkat decided he will give us silence. So, 3 minutes, nothing, 100 messages. No, nothing is happening, nothing. Wait, nothing has started only, isn't it? So when you see you see something as bad, the moment you see anything as bad, that is not bad. It is your It's your mind. And if you see anything good, I'm learning to see good things. You don't learn to see good things alone. You say goodness equals divine. So anything good is me. Anything good is me. When the enlightened master speaks, he will not say it is God. He will say it is me. Bhakti is going down to that statement when he says it is me. What is devotion? That's where it is so motivating and inspiring for the Shishya when he says it is me. When he says it is divine, as though it is some third person talking. And when he says it is me, the Shishya is seeking for that kind of an affirmative talk. He doesn't want to know this is divine, this is divine, this is divine. He wants to know that this is me. And Krishna goes on taking the list. Extraordinary chapter, Vibhuti Yoga. So wonderful a topic, so wonderful a chapter, so psychologically different, but people miss it. They just skip through these chapters. There is nothing in chapter 10, there is nothing in chapter 11. What is the meaningful thing in chapter 10? Anything divine you see, it's me. Anything bad you see, it's your mind. Full stop. And what are all the good things? In everything there is the best. The moment you see the world, in everything there is something that is the best. So he picks that list out and he says, this is me, this is me, this is me. We have seen this distinction. When we introduced the chapter only, we saw all this distinction. Eka Rupa, Aneka Rupa, and then only Arupa will come. That's the sequence. Eka Rupa, you will see God in only one form first. That itself is very difficult. But you see God in one form. It's called Eka Rupa. You can call it Ishtadevata also, where you see God in one form, and rest of the forms will not appear as divine to you. From that, you mature in spiritual growth. What is the spiritual growth? Aneka Rupa. You see divine in very many forms, all forms. And then the third stage comes, Arupa. Arupa means the formless, what we call as the essential oneness. You cannot directly go to this essential oneness. If it is possible, then these chapters are redundant. But it is not possible. Therefore, it is very important to go through this understanding. What is understanding? Every manifestation has to be seen as divine. In that manifestation, something is the best, something is mediocre, something is low. In every manifestation, groups. And in every group, there is always these three categories. The best, the average, the mediocre, and then the worst. So what is he doing here? What is he doing here? He's taking the best. He's taking the best, and he's saying, this is me. This is me. This is me. Obviously, down the line, what will happen? Everything becomes him. Obviously, down the line, everything at some point of time will become him. "76 things he is saying in Vibhuti Yoga. The number 76 things he is taking and saying, this is me, this is me, this is me. Some from the macrocosm, some from the microcosm, and some from the divine stories. So some he takes from the stories, some he takes from the macrocosm, some he takes from the microcosm. And then he says, all this is me. All this is me. After the third verse, fourth verse, we will get switched off. And you will say, okay, we understood that all the, okay, we understood. This is what you wish. Let us go to the next. Let us go to the next. But he is not stopping. Arjuna only asked, show me, tell me your glories. And when he said the glories, keeping to the tradition, keeping to the Vedic Vedantic tradition, he started with the Mahavakya. Ahamatma Gudakesha. Because whenever the glory has to be spoken, the highest will be told. So then he started Ahamatma Gudakesha. I am the, wherever you see anything, you are only seeing me. What are you even asking as my glories? That is the Mahavakya. Wherever you see anything, it is only me. Remember the equation we gave, object plus light, object plus light, object plus light. Wherever any object is seen, what is implied in that? Light is already there. Or because of the light only, things are seen. Therefore, what all you see in this universe, I am there already in everything. So this question that where all, tell me your glories, doesn't arise at all. Or if I have to tell my glories, I have to list out the entire thing in the creation. And obviously I can't list out. Why? Because it is infinite and it cannot be listed out. Therefore, what am I saying? As a sample. Yeah. So sample is 76 samples is given. When you go to the store, you buy one sample, no? When you buy a bunch of grapes, you will take one grape. Mango alone, they will not give sample, isn't it? One mango, if you eat, what will happen? They will give you one small piece or badda bodu kudupaanga. They will give you one small piece. You go and buy dates, they will give you one sample. And knowing that sample, you are supposed to know the whole. So 76 samples is given. Up to verse number 22. Vedanam Samavedosmi, etc. Of gods I am Vasava, of senses I am the mind, of living beings I am Chetana, consciousness. We'll move on to verse number 23.
Rudranam Shankarashchasmi Vittesho Yaksharakshasam Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Merushikatinamaham Rudranam Shankarashchasmi Vittesho Yaksharakshasam Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Merushikatinamaham.
And of Rudras, I am Shankara, Vittesha of Yakshas and Rakshasas, of Vasus, I am Pavaka, and of mountains, I am Meru. So Rudras, Shankara, Vittesha of Yakshas and Rakshasas, of Vasus, I am Pavaka, and of mountains, I am Meru. So further glories, further manifestations. Rudras are the deities of destruction. Of the deities of destruction, there are 11 deities of destruction. Of the 11, Shankara is the best. So the best destructive god is me. So even amongst the destructive gods, there is best. And he says, amongst the destructive gods only, you should not go near. And of the destructive god, if someone is best, you should not even want to know his name. And he is saying, of the destructive gods, Shankara. That is me. Yeah. Kapali is one destructive god. Yeah, he is also one destructive god only. Yeah, very beautiful god he is. Yeah. Mailapurla இருக்கிறார் அவர், isn't it? So beautiful he is. Yeah. So beautiful he is, Kapali. So many destructive gods like that. Of that, Shankara is best. Why Shankara is the best? Because Samkaroti iti Shankara, the doer. Whoever does anything good, he will be called as Shankara. And he is doing the and he is doing the real good thing he is doing. By what? By destroying. If creation is very good, if maintenance is very good, destruction is also very good. So he is taking the destructive part of the thing and he is saying, I am Shankara. Popularly called as Lord Shiva, you can say. But in the Vedas and all, they will not use the word Shiva, they will use the word Rudras. Rudras, Adityas, like elsewhere we saw of the 11 thing, I am Vishnu. Now he's saying of the Rudras, I am Shankara. It's a very classic Vedic distinctions. And for all practical purposes, we don't know what these distinctions are, and it's okay. What else do we do now? When you say it's okay means what do we do? In that sense, it is okay. It's not okay. It is not okay not to know. But அதெல்லாம் சொல்லி கொடுக்க ஆரம்பிச்சா that becomes another other class. So we just bypass it and he keeps going. So of the Rudras, I am Shankara. Then he says, of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am Vittesha. Vittesha, the popular name is Kubera. Kubera is the god of wealth. Elsewhere is going to say Lakshmi also. So there are two gods of wealth. One is an ugly god, another is beautiful god. Lakshmi is a beautiful god of wealth. Kubera is an ugly god of wealth. Both are god of wealth only. And he is the cousin of Ravana. This Kubera is the cousin of Ravana. And all gods, he is like the World Bank of gods, Kubera. So when any gods have any financial troubles, they will go to Kubera only, and Kubera will give them loans. And Tirupati Balaji also took loans from Kubera. One person in life who took a wedding loan is Lord Balaji, and he took a loan. We are repaying his loan, isn't it? So anyway, what is this Kubera? What does he means? Wealth can sit on somebody beautifully. Wealth can sit on somebody ugly. But nevertheless, wealth is so wonderful, divine. That's all he said. Kubera is the ugly manifestation of wealth. Lakshmi is the beautiful manifestation of wealth. It means on some it can be beautiful, on some it is ugly. So there is a vulgar display of wealth, and there is a very subtle, beautiful display of wealth. What is the vulgar display of wealth? Aggrandizing, hoarding is the vulgar display of wealth. What is the beautiful display of wealth? Sharing, dhanam is the beautiful display of wealth. So later on he's going to say, I am Lakshmi, he's going to say. Now he's saying, I am Kubera. Later on he's going to say, I am Lakshmi. It means what? Wealth is me. Wealth is divine. Whether it is ugly or whether it is Kubera or Lakshmi, it is me. The third one is Pavaka. Pavaka, also known as the fire god. There are demigods, semi-gods, demigods. All these categories are very, very confusing. So here is talking about the demigods. Anala, also popularly known as Agni. So of the demigods, he says, I am Agni, the chief. In the Virat Purusha, where they talk about where they give the macrocosmic form of God. There are various macrocosmic forms of God they give. One macrocosmic form of God is where they talk about Agni as the mouth of God in one form. So each and every, there are very many forms. There are very many Virat Purushas the Upanishads talks about. Of that, one form is Pavaka. Pavaka means Agni. And where is he? In the mouth. Mouth means words. Mouth not eating. Mouth means words. Words means Shastras, scriptures. That's how it goes. Mouth means equated to words. Words means Shastras, scriptures. So Agni is considered as the best. Also Agni is the best because it purifies. There is no purifying factor like Agni. Also he is known as Jata Vedas, the all-knower. I am that Pavaka. I am Meru. Meru is a mountain referred in the Shastras which nobody has seen till date. Therefore we loosely say it as mythological. Meru is maybe there was a Meru at some point of time and it got in, because the geography keeps changing, isn't it? Now the highest peak is Mount Everest, isn't it? So Meru is higher than Everest. And and if you ask where is this Meru, there is no. And if you ask where is this Meru, there is no Meru anywhere that geographically can be shown. But all the Vedic literature have a reference to this Meru, and then he says, I am that Meru. And Vedas say this Meru is the center of the universe. Not in the earth, not on earth. It is not the center of the earth. It is the center of the universe. That is Meru. Center means that keeps everything, that holds everything together. So I am that which holding everything together. Therefore, Krishna is identifying with that Meru. So of the Rudras, I am Shankara. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am Vittesha, Kubera. Vasus, I am Pavaka, and of mountains, I am Meru. Kubera became a lord of wealth by doing tapas. All achievements in life is because of tapas. After doing tapas, when Brahma comes, instead of asking for moksha, these people ask for something else. So much of effort is done, so much of hard work is done, so much of sacrifices are done, so much of sincere work is done. God gets pleased and they come and ask, what do you want? Instead of asking for moksha, these people ask, make me the lord of something. I want this, I want something, they keep asking. And the gods grant it as it were. God's granting means your own efforts makes you deserve that, and you get it. What does Krishna saying? When you are making so much of effort, and when the gods appear and ask, what do you want? Why are you sacrificing the highest for the lowest? So these yakshas and rakshasas are those who have sacrificed the highest for the lowest. Sages are the one who's doing the reverse. They are trying to drop the lowest and catch hold of the highest. And when somebody drops the highest for the lowest, obviously it is very obviously ugly, monstrous, everything associated with them will be ugly and monstrous. That is Kubera. I'm not reading the list because all the list is given in the commentary. Whatever the names are there for 11 Rudras is there in the commentary. Whatever the Pavaka, the Ashtapa of the Ashtadevatas, Pavaka is the best. So what are the names and all is there in the commentary. So you can refer the book for the names. We are only trying to interpret what makes it the best and why he is saying I am that. Verse number 24 pading.
पुरोधसां च मुख्यं मां विद्धि पार्थ बृहस्पतिम् सेनानीनामहं स्कन्दः सरसामस्मि सागरः पुरोधसां च मुख्यं मां विद्धि पार्थ बृहस्पतिम् सेनानीनामहं स्कन्दः सरसामस्मि सागरः.
Of household priests, O Partha, know me to be the chief Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Skanda. Of lakes, I am the ocean. So, of household priests, O Partha, know me to be the chief priest, Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Skanda. Of lakes, I am ocean. So he's continuing another list here. Purodasam, of the household priests. The priest is one who comes and assists in yajna. Who's the priest? The priest is one who comes and from this Purodasam they say Purohit. So this who are they? They are the one who comes and assists in yajna. Since they are the one who comes and assists in yajna, they are a very wonderful group. Amongst that wonderful group, I am Brihaspati, the wisest. Why Brihaspati? Because Brihaspati is the chief of them all. When you have to do an yajna, 8, 16, 32, numbers go like that. You don't do yajna with 1 or 2 people and all. If at all you have to do an yajna, more people will come. 8 will come, 16 will come, 32 will come, depending on what? Depending on your budget. Depending on your budget, I don't know. That's how it is. So he comes. When the group comes, Brihaspati assigns respective jobs to everybody. He will say, you two do this, you two do this, you two do this. And he will be supervising that whole lot. It means he is in relation to the yajna, Brihaspati is one who's all-knower. So in relation to yajna, he is the all-knower. Since him being the all-knower, he can allocate the respective jobs to everyone. And that person is Brihaspati. Why is one? And even today, this word Brihaspati is used colloquially, isn't it? Ayur Periya Brihaspati, they'll say, isn't it? When somebody talks very wise, they will say, Ayur Periya Brihaspati Mari Pesarappa, they will say. Because he is the wisest. He is the wisest because he knows if you want to do Kamya Karma, he can do Kamya Karma. If you want to do Nishkama Karma, he can do Nishkama Karma. So first he will come and ask you, what do you want? Kamya karma or nishkama karma? It means he knows both. So if he say, I want to do kamya karma, does it. If he say, I want to do nishkama karma, again he do. A very glorious tradition of everyday yajna will be happening everywhere. Now it is replaced with temples and temples and shlokas and etc. In the Gita times, you should understand that the culture was still Vedic. So you will never find Krishna referring to any temple. You will never find the Ramayana, Mahabharata temples referred to. Because in those days, temples were not places of worship. Worship means you do yajna, that's all. If at all you want to do any worship, what do? Start one yajna. And some yajna will go on for 7 days, some yajna will go on for 30 days, some yajna will go on for 180 days. So yajnas goes on like that. The Brihaspati is one who knows everything about this. He is all knowing in relation to the yajna. And if you are all knowing in relation to the yajna, means he is the master of the Veda called Yajurveda. Because the Yajurveda talks about yajnas, and Brihaspati has mastered this Veda, Yajurveda, and he is the best in that. And obviously it is me, he says. If you say Brihaspati is the best, obviously it is me. He will not allow you to take credit for anything. That's all. What all that he is doing is, wherever you say it is best to good, obviously it is me. Wherever you say anything bad, wrong, it's your mind. What a very, it's not fair at all, isn't it? Oh, at least you should say bad things and all, I'll take care, don't worry. God should say that. No. Here God is doing exactly the opposite. Instead of saying bad things, I will take care, he's saying good things and all is me, bad things and all you handle it. It's your mind, you only can handle it. So skanda of generals. Skanda, popularly known as Subramanya, Muruga, and he is the God. Gods also has an army. Why they have an army, we don't know, but they also have an Rakshasas have an army, and God also have an army. And if there is an army, there have to be a general, a chief. And who is that? That is Kanda. And one of the biggest Puranas of the 18 Puranas is called Skanda Purana. And wonderful Vedantic literatures is in that Purana. There are wonderful Vedantic literatures available in the Skanda Purana. So he's saying it is me. Since we don't know those Puranas, we don't know what are the literature available in those Puranas and all that. But he knows it. Therefore, he's saying it is me. Skanda, it is me. Of the lakes, I am ocean. So he's classified everything into lakes. So of the lakes, there is water in a spoon, there is water in a cup, there is water in a mug, there is water in a lake, there is water in a river, and then there is water in the ocean. The largest, the beautiful, the wonderful. Therefore, I am the ocean. Each and everything has certain stories. We are not going into those. We are not going into those stories. As we said in the beginning itself, we will not get into those stories. The stories chapter 10 as it is, I am dragging. As it is one chapter, I am taking 1 year to finish. And stories chapter 10 only we will not finish in this Janma. So what we will do? So we'll just skip the story part and we'll give you what is the gist of that. What is the meaning there? Brihaspati, the son of Angirasa. Angirasa by himself is a great, he is a great Vedic sage. Shaunako Havai Mahashalaha Angirasam Vidivadu Pasanna Papracha. Mundokopanishad talks about Angirasa as a very great sage. And that Angirasa has a son. And that son is Brihaspati. He knows everything. Because he is all-knowing, he is not your family priest, he is not my family priest, he is not the family priest of the king, he is the family priest of the gods. So if you go and ask Gatavadar Yarun Indra Keta, he will say Brihaspati. Yeah, Venkat. Adan solrar avaru. Inga Nambulta Gatavadar Yarun Keta Theriyadu, we will say, isn't it? I have to find out. But there means one who comes and assists in the it's a typical Brahmin language where they will come and ask who's the Pandit, who's the one who comes and does it. Knowing that the quality of your family will be known. That's all. So if you say this person is coming to my house, oh, you varara, then your family status is, oh, you varara. Then you know the family status is not that good. And when Brihaspati is coming, Brihaspati varara, abdina is the, because you should be able to, you should be of that quality for him to come. That's what it implies. You should be of that quality for him to come. He's not going to come and knock at everybody's door. Therefore, I am Brihaspati, the chief of household priests, the skanda of generals. I am the ocean of lakes. 25 padinga.
Maharshinam Briguraham Giramasnekamaksharam Yajnanam Japayajñosmi Stavaranam Himalaya Maharshinam Briguraham Giramasnekamaksharam Yajnanam Japayajñosmi Stavaranam Himalaya.
Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of speech, I am the monosyllable. Of yajñas, I am Japayajña. Of immovables, Himalaya. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of speech, I am the monosyllable Om. Of yajñas, I am Japayajña. Of immovables, the Himalayas. Bhrigu. There are 10 great sages. They are again a different class. Angiras and all belongs to one class. And this Bhrigu and all of them, they are of a different class. See, what these class have is, not only they are extraordinary human, not only they are extraordinary people, not only they are enlightened masters, they have siddhis also, what is known as supernatural powers. Amongst these kind of sages, I am Bhrigu. That's all. Daksha, Vasishta, Pulastya. Pulastya is the father of Ravana. Pulastya is the father of Ravana. Vasishta, Daksha, Manu is a great sage. Who gave the Manu? Who gave the Manusmriti? And today, if you say the word Manusmriti, you will be in you will be put in jail because of using the word Manusmriti only. So, but still he is a great, because we don't understand him, his greatness doesn't go away. So he is another great sage. Kratu, Ulaha, Angira, not Angirasa, it is Angira. So these are all very subtle differences in the names. Atri, Marichi, Bhrigu. Of these great sages, who are not only enlightened people, not only they can give a discourse on Vedanta, they have supernatural powers also. Imagine that combination. They have supernatural powers. Krishna belongs to that category only. He's also, that's why he's able to show Vishwarupa and all, isn't it? A Ramana Maharshi cannot show you Vishwarupa. A Ramakrishna Paramsa will not able to show you Vishwarupa and all. But this category, they are very, very, very unique category. So of these category, I am Bhrigu. Because he is the best. Now, why he is the best? Now we should know the stories of all the 10. What he has done to say that he is the best. So we simply swallow. He is the best. Of speech, I am Om. Ekam Aksharam. He simply says Ekam Aksharam. He didn't say Om. Ekam Aksharam. Ekam Aksharam is Om. We know that whenever they say Ekam Aksharam, it is Om. Therefore, that Om is within brackets because he didn't say I am Om. He didn't say that. He only says I am Ekam Aksharam. And of the speech, I am the Om. And we have discussed about this Om many a times. The philosophical meaning, the philosophical meaning of Om, the very chanting itself has an effect. Even to those ignorant of the value, these are all the things that we just have to swallow and go. Even in the commentary, if you see, rarely this kind of language you will find in the commentary, but what to do? That is the reality. He says, the Om chant produces positive vibrations of harmony, peace, and bliss. Even to those ignorant of the value, it has both articulate import and inarticulate import. But sir, philosophical meaning and all we can understand because we are all philosophers sitting here. So philosophical meaning we understand, but what is this what is articulate? I can understand. What is this inarticulate vibration, peace, harmony? Suddenly, why this language? Suddenly, what is this language? That's why I said simply swallow that. Even to those ignorant of the value, the chant itself has a vibration. The chant itself brings certain peace, calm. Because these sounds of the a, the u, the the sound itself has an effect. When you want to agree, you say isn't it? When you want to agree, you say means after this no conversation, isn't it? It's agreed. Ooh. It relieves, Ooh. I have not actually anybody saying ouch and all, isn't it? Movies, dialogues, is ouch. No, I have not heard anybody saying that. People will say only naturally. What sound will come? Ooh. Isn't it? The a, the u, the There is an articulate meaning. There is an articulate, and then it is the sounds. Om has an articulate thing, and it has an inarticulate expression. And both he says is extraordinary. Both he says is extraordinary. It has both meanings. It has articulate and the inarticulate. Therefore, he says the intonational value. That's why they say the Vedic mantras, 8-10 years of training they take to chant. It's not just, it's not like what we do. 8-10 years of rigorous discipline to chant itself. The rigorous discipline that goes along with not just learning chanting. For that chanting to become effective, they have to go through a rigorous discipline. Even today, they do all that. Even today, if you go to these Veda Pathshalas and all, they do all that because they know the very chant itself produces, the very chanting itself has some effect. It's called the science of Chandas. It's called the sound. It is called the art of knowing how to pronounce. It's a separate science by itself. In those days, all the basics of this were taught in the beginning. So the Vedas were the Vedas, the Veda Angas, Siksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukto, Chando, Jyotishamiti. The Vedas will be taught and the Veda Angas will be taught. Because without the Veda Anga, you cannot understand Veda. Without the knowledge of Siksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chandas, Jyotish, Vedas cannot be known. So because these things are that which aids you to know the Vedas. And if you don't know the Vedas itself, Vedanta can never be known. Therefore, Vedas is something which is very meaningful, and the very chant itself has an effect. Of the chant that has the best effect, Om, of all the intonational things, Om is the best. So he says, I am the Om. I am the monosyllable of speech. Eka akshara. Ekam aksharam. And then another beautiful yajna. Of the yajnas, I am japa yajna. Connection இருக்கிறாரா? அப்படி சொல்லுங்க. Swadhyaya Jnana Yajnam சொல்லல. Yeah. Of the yajnas, he is not saying I am Swadhyaya. Yeah. He is saying I am of the yajnas, I am japa yajna. What is this japa yajna? Yajna means repeated offering. Non-stop offering is called yajna. That's why you take the grains and you offer it in the fire. It's a non-stop thing. Agnaye swaha, agnaye dannamama, varunaya swaha, varunaya idannamama. All that they keep so continuously they keep it's a non-stop offering. What is the best of the yajna? Japa. Japa yajna is dhyana meditation. Japa yajna refers to the dhyana meditation. So of all the yajnas, meditation is the best. Yajna literally broadly means all spiritual activities. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, all that also can be added to the word yajna here. In this context, அப்புறம் இதுக்கு ஒரு group discussion வைக்காதீங்க. I don't have another group discussion on this now. Yajna in this context can be grouped as all spiritual activities can be grouped as yajna. Of all the spiritual activities that you do, what is the best? Karma yoga is not the best. Bhakti yoga is not the best. Jnana yoga is not the best. Meditation is the best. Why? Because it is meditation almost like one step into Brahman, as it were. In meditation, one step into Brahman, and therefore, obviously meditation will be the so here is japa yajna. Today, in the modern day vocabulary, japa yajna, we have started taking japa yajna means some name we keep, we keep a japa mala and we keep chanting some name, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. And that is not japa yajna. Japa yajna is the silence. Japa yajna is anchoring in silence. And when when you are not able to hold the silence, you say Om. And the very fact that you have said Om, you can be in silence for some more time. These are all the techniques of Japa yajna. So it is being in silence. And silence gets disturbed. Okay. In the normal person's case, silence doesn't exist at all in the first place. Because it's a continuous flow of thought. It's that the thoughts keep running at such a speed that silence doesn't happen at all. So in Japa Yajna, what are we doing? It is not the continuous chanting of Om, Om. Keep to the silence as much as possible. Yeah. Then divine help. Yeah. Krishna through Venkat gave us the silence today. Yeah. Divine help, Japa Yajna, he gave that silence. No. But no, so restless we became, isn't it? So restless we became. Japa Yajna. So what is that? Japa Yajna is meditation. Japa Yajna is meditation. How can meditation also be called as Yajna? Yeah. Next week, Ranjini will ask this question, isn't it? And she will come up with 7 clarifications. In one question, she will have 7 clarifications. இப்போ ரொம்ப தைரியமா பேசு because I'm 4,000 kilometers away. Now, so I will talk with more courage. Next week, much more courage I will talk. Further away, the other side of the day and night. So it will be much more courageous. So how can japa be called as an yajna? You are offering something. The sound is offered, the silence is kindled. It is yajna. You offer the sound and the sound dies. When the sound dies, silence is kindled. So, of all the yajnas, Japa yajna is the best. And I am Japa yajna. How beautifully he's saying, I am the best, I am the best, I am the best in everything. He's not leaving anything for us to claim. Yajnanam Japa yajna. Stavaranam Himalaya. Stavaranam Himalaya means of the immovables, I am the Himalayas. Stavaranam. So, Stavara Jangama. Like all the species, all that is available in nature can be divided into 2. The moving and the unmoving. Stavara Jangama. Stavara means that which is rooted to a place. Jangama means that which keep moving from place to place. That which is rooted to the places, the plants, the stones, all that. Because they don't move. Animals, the birds, the fishes, the rest and all, the worms, everything keeps moving. Of the immovables, I am the Himalayas. Because of the immovables, that which cannot be moved at all is, at least you can roll a stone, isn't it? A stone you can take and you can try and roll it. Or 50 people can get together, you can bring in machines and do all that. One person only tried to move the Himalaya. The human history, one person tried. That is Ravana. He went and he tried to move the immovable. Because if I can move the Himalayas, I will be the most powerful person. Because if he can move the Himalayas, what kind of a power that person should be having? So he says, of the immovable. Immovable means it is Stavara and Jangama, Himalayas. Also, Himalayas have a very unique spiritual place. Also, Himalayas has that uniqueness. What is the uniqueness? The uniqueness of Himalayas, lots of sages and saints have discovered the truth in that place. So there is something so beautiful about that. So there is something so divine that there is something very divine there. Being the tallest, the peak of knowledge, the highest, the peak of knowledge, the highest is Himalayas, and that Himalayas is me. Therefore, it is powerful, it is the highest, it is the highest peak, it is the seat of knowledge. Considering all these, Himalayas become the best amongst the immovables, and I am that Himalaya. So Stavarana, Himalaya, the Stavara and Jangama is the two things that we talk about. This world is made up of moving and unmoving. Some moves, some don't move. Of those that don't move, it is Himalayas. And why Himalayas? Because of all this. There is this Swiss mountains also have this snow, sir. Swiss mountains also have snow. But no contemplation of reality happens there. There is no contemplation of reality that happens there. In the Himalayas, contemplation about reality happens. So in that sense, there is a difference. In that sense, Himalaya has a very unique place because of its beauty, because of its glory. Why? From time immemorial, countless sages have come from that place, have used that place for contemplation. Please understand, it's not necessary that everybody has to go there and spoil that place. Yeah. Chardham Yatra, this Yatra, that Yatra, they go and spoil that place and come back, because no place for contemplation nowadays, isn't it? Some places we should leave for them, no. We go there and disturb all the places. Lots and lots of sages have used that place for contemplation. And the Himalayas have a very, very spiritual value. Why spiritual value? Because wise men lived there. Wherever the wise person lived, it has a great value. Like Tiruvannamalai, there are so many Shiva temples. Why Tiruvannamalai? Shiva temples are everywhere. Tiruvannamalai is because of what? Some great men lived there. So wherever great enlightened sages live, that place is considered holy. We worship. Of all the places, what is the best? Himalayas is the best. Why? Because if 3-4 people are here, 1-2 in some other place, 1-2 in some other mountains, in Himalayas, it is, you can't count them. Hundreds and thousands of people have come there. Therefore, of the immovables, I am Himalaya. So verse number 25. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of the speech, I am the monosyllable Om. Of the yajnas, I am Japa Yajna. Of the immovables, I am Himalaya. With this, verse number 25, we conclude. Clarifications we'll take up. Yes. Yeah, someone is there. Yeah. Yes.
I have two doubts. So the first one is, you said in Japa Yajna, sound is offered and silence is kindled. But in Swadhyaya Jnana Yajna, ignorance is offered and knowledge is kindled. So Swadhyaya should be superior. Yeah.
Yes.
But why Krishna didn't tell Swadhyaya?
Ganesh only can answer that question. No. PhD in Swadhyaya is Ganesh. Yeah. Yeah. So, See, here what he is saying is that which is the closest of all the yajna is spiritual practice in this context. In this context, you should take yajna as a spiritual practice. Of all the spiritual practices, what is the best? Meditation is the best. Japa yajna means meditation. So of all the spiritual practices, meditation is the best. Why meditation is the best? Karma yoga, bhakti yoga leads to chitta shuddhi. Doesn't give you moksha. The chitta shuddhi makes you qualified for knowledge, nididhyasana, contemplation. Again, it is not closest to moksha. All this leads to dhyana, meditation. And there is nothing after meditation. There is nothing beyond meditation. Therefore, japa yajna becomes the best because it is that which is closest to Brahman. Again, I repeat, karma bhakti is for purification. In the purified mind is contemplative. That contemplative mind over a period of time turns meditative. Meditation, moksha, liberation. Therefore, of all the spiritual practices, japa yajna is the best. Japa yajna is not nama japa. Japa yajna, nowadays people take it as nama japa. Nama japa means some name they can keep repeating. So Krishna only said, I am japa yajna. Therefore, keep chanting, keep repeating the name itself. What is meant here is yajna means spiritual practices. Of the spiritual practices, meditation is the best in that sense. So he is not talking about it in the context of the 12 yajnas and all of the 4th chapter. Because of the same word that he is using, we will get confused. That's why I said. You follow? Second clarification.
And you said Ekarupa, Anekarupa, and Arupa. So you didn't say Vishwarupa. So is there a difference between Anekarupa and Vishwarupa?
No. Oh, okay. Correct. Yeah, that's correction, isn't it? Ekarupa. What is the sequence?
Ekarupa, Anekarupa, Vishwarupa, and Arupa.
There is a difference between Anekarupa and Vishwarupa. Vishwarupa, we didn't talk about it. I didn't mention it deliberately because next chapter we are going to talk about it. So here he is talking about Anekarupa. From Anekarupa, there is this Arupa. Even from Anekarupa, Arjuna is not able to go to Arupa. So he is asking, show everything in one form. So he is asking for Anekarupa, Krishna is showing him Anekarupa. Vibhuti Yoga. The next chapter he will ask for Vishwarupa and Krishna will show him Vishwarupa. But conceptually, how do we understand the growth? Ekarupa, Anekarupa, Vishwarupa, and Arupa. You are right. The sequence, the 4 is right. Are you able to follow? The 4 sequence, the Ekarupa, Anekarupa, Vishwarupa, Arupa. It grows like that. But why I didn't mention about Vishwarupa? I didn't mention about Vishwarupa because the focus here is not on Vishwarupa. The focus here is on Vibhuti Yoga which is Arupa. Is it okay?
And I didn't understand the difference. Anekarupa and Vishwarupa difference.
Anekarupa is various forms that you see separate. Vishwarupa is you put everything in one. Again, I repeat. Anekarupa, you see everything everywhere. Separate, you see. You see Bhrigu separately. You see Himalaya separately. You see everything separately. In Vishwarupa, what are you seeing? In Anekarupa, you see everything separately. In Vishwarupa, you put everything together in one. That's why when we introduced, we said chapter 10 is analytical, chapter 11 is synthetic. What all is shown separately will be shown in one form. So when the entire thing is shown in one form, it is called Vishwarupa. So the difference is you see them separately. Here you see in one form.
So can I understand that Anekarupa is talking only about goodness, and in Vishwarupa, good and bad is taken together?
No. You should not compare it like that. In Anekarupa, it is seen separately. In Vishwarupa, it is all seen in one. Incidentally, in Vishwarupa, why he is showing the negative also, when we go there, we'll discuss that. Because there are certain things that has to be, when we go to chapter 11 and when we'll introduce Vishwarupa, we will talk about it. Why the bad also comes there, when in the Vibhuti Yoga, certain things are not added here. Why in Vishwarupa all that gets added there? All that we'll be discussing when we go to Vishwarupa. But right now we will restrict ourselves to Anekarupa as in Vibhuti Yoga. Because right now the focus is on that. You follow? So when we go there, we will discuss that. Because when we introduce, because every chapter we will introduce it in that. What is it? Why he is saying in Vibhuti is the best? Why in Vishwarupa everything is added? You follow? One more clarification. Yes. Deepika. Yeah. Yes, Ekam Aksharam. Yes. Yes.
Commentary for all.
Yes.
Why did he say we have to elaborate what is that?
Yes. Now the question is in relation to the verse 20, in the verse that we just finished, 25. He says, I am Ekam Aksharam. He didn't say I am Om. Why did he say I am Ekam Aksharam? Om is such a sacred thing. Most of the times they will not repeat Om. They will not be the Om because it has a sacredness and it has a secretness about it. One. Second is, traditionally, in the middle of something, Om should not come. The Om should not come right in the middle of something. Only Upanishads have the liberty to bring in Om wherever they want. These Bhagavad Gita and all have such a different tradition. So they will, so there are certain things that is so sacred. And Om is the most sacred. Not like the Om that we are now. The Om is so liberal now. It should not be that liberal. So he will not bring in the Om. So he will indicate Om. And the indicator of Om is Ekam Aksharam. It's a pure emotion. It's a pure emotion of respect and tradition. This entire Vibhuti Yoga is only that. You follow what I'm saying? So they will not say that I am Om. Right in the middle of the verses, you should not bring in Om. That too in this kind of, in mantra style, in some places it is possible to do. But in the Gita style of literature and all, Om will not come. They will not bring it because that Om is sacred and Om is secret. You follow?
Yeah.
That's why. So he will not, keeping to that, howsoever logical he is, howsoever beautiful is logical, you cannot find anybody more logical than Krishna. But that logic doesn't overpower the devotion to the tradition. He's a beautiful blend. His logic doesn't overpower his respect and reverence and keeping to the tradition. See, most of the time what happens is whenever we become logical, we lose reverence to the tradition and we think that we are superior. Because the tradition looks very backward. The devotion, the emotion, tradition and all looks very, very backward the moment you get logical. But here, Krishna is a very extraordinary person because you can't find anybody who is greater than Krishna. In logic, at the same time, you can't find anybody who is so traditional and having a reverence to the to the traditional Vedic method. So he says, I am Japa Yajna of the Yajnas, I am Japa Yajna. The word Yajna he is using, keeping to the tradition, but he is not using the word Om. It's a sheer respect and reverence following the tradition. That's only answer here. There's no logic here. It is just keeping to the reverence and respect to the tradition, to the Vedic tradition. What is the Vedic tradition? Om should come before the mantras because it has that primary place. Or sandwich between Om. Start with Om and end with Om. But in the middle, you don't bring this. It's a Vedic tradition. And Krishna is sticking to that. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, he will stick to the tradition. Because also Om is a secret. We know Om. Do we know Om? We don't know Om. So even though we say Om, 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 it still remains a secret only. And it has to be unraveled. So they have a different way of looking at things. Is it okay, Deepika? Yes. Hari. Yes, Hari.
Guruji, can we, when we are talking about Aneka Rupa and Vishwarupa, can we interpret when we talk Aneka Rupa, he's talking about the world?
Yes.
And Vishwarupa is divinity, divine form.
Actually, Hari, the Aneka Rupa, Vishwarupa, both are divine. Both are divine. What is shown separately as, understand it like that. The car is broken up into 365 parts and it is laid out on the table.
Yeah.
That is Bhuti Yoga. That is Aneka Rupa.
Yeah.
When all the 365 parts are combined and showed in one form as a car, that is Vishwarupa. So both are one and the same. They are not different. Though it is two approaches. One is breaking it up into component parts and showing it. This is car, this is car, this is car. The spring is car, the nut is car, the bolt is car. But sir, battery car, what happens? The battery is the battery is the car, the glass is the car, the tire is the car, the metal is the car. That is Vibhuti Yoga. Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga is you put everything together, and when you put everything together, definitely it will have a uniqueness to it. That is why Vishwarupa Darshana, that is why Vishwarupa is having a different flavor. If Vibhuti Yoga has a different flavor, Vishwarupa has another different flavor, but both are divine, and there cannot be a superiority difference interpretation. Yeah. Unmute Hari, he is saying something. Yeah. Yes, Hari. Chalunga.
When I meant world, I didn't mean that world as not divine, because everything is divine, you know.
Yes.
The world itself is an whatever the cosmic law and the Ashtityam, everything is there in the world. But for the meaning, as for the interpretation as such, when we are talking about Aneka Rupa, then from that angle, can we interpret he is talking about the world, Aneka Rupam, because in the world, all Nama Rupa is in the world.
Even in Vishwarupa, he's only showing the worlds. He's not showing anything different.
Okay.
Even in Vishwarupa, what is he showing? He's only going to show the worlds. He's not showing anything different from the world there also. So
Yeah.
Aneka Rupa is also of the world. Vishwarupa is also of the world. The difference is
One is,
separate, another is in one form.
okay.
That's all. Because even in Vishwarupa is only showing the worlds.
Okay. Okay.
Showing anything different. What all he is discussing Vibhuti Yoga is
Yeah.
what is shown in Vishwarupa Yoga, Vishwarupa
Okay.
Darshana Yoga.
Okay.
So even so, from that angle also we have to say he's only talking about
World.
world only,
Yeah. Okay.
meaning divine.
Okay.
In this context, world means divine. You are right. World
Yeah.
means divine.
Okay.
Yeah, is it okay, Hari?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Over, Venkat. Yeah. With this, we conclude for today. We'll continue with 26 onwards.